Hi, I'm Dr. Mark, and I'm going to help you sing and perform more like the top artists around the world. I'm a professional voice teacher, performance coach, and opera stage director. I've helped thousands of singers around the world learn the techniques and methods that got the top singers to where they are. Today, I'm going to react to, analyze, and teach you how to sing more like EXO as they perform El Dorado. Here we go. First thing going through my mind as I'm watching this, how does the design process work for their clothes? Because someone's obviously designing this. They're not choosing to all have gold jackets here. Someone had to say gold jackets, but they're all different. And so how are they deciding who gets to wear which different jacket? How cool is that? I love it. Again, it's what we see across J-pop, and that's this balance between uniformity and individuality. And I love it. I think it's a really excellent way to show diversity within a group, but still visually have them live in the same world. Really, really cool. What are we hearing vocally here? We're hearing that they're keeping it really easy, slightly on the aspirate side, really speech-like, all the normal things we've come to expect from them in terms of easy, consistent, reliable technique. The most important being they're not pushing at it, they're not forcing it. Really, really nice. Really interesting. They kept a lot of this ass spacing back, kept it relatively bright and forward. Earlier, before we get into the chorus section, they let it get a little dark. We heard some vibrato come out, and they let this space get a little more old, added some of that richness, that fullness to the sound, which gave this kind of sense of romantic drama going on. And that was really, really cool. Being able to shape different vowels in different ways, even though they're both an O sound, having a different shape here in the back, giving us a different color that gives us a different kind of emotional response and different nuance to the voice. Really important to be able to understand how to make that happen. Does that mean you have to go as a performer and be able to micromanage each of those pieces? No, it doesn't actually. Is it helpful to know how to do that? Yes. And being able to have the know-how of exactly how to make each of those sounds great. But if that's what you're thinking about in the performance, you probably already lost the audience. You've gone inside your head. You're no longer communicating. You're no longer there. That's something you need to work out in the practice room so that when you get on stage, what you're thinking about is context and meanings and feelings so that your voice knows to respond and give you those colors when you feel and think certain thoughts. That's the real trick, is practicing in the practice room, not just the proper technique, but how to then connect that technique to what you actually need to think about as you're performing to make it a believable, invested, emotionally intense performance. What would that mean here? El Dorado. Maybe all they're thinking about when they get in that richer, more romantic place down low is they're imagining some really romantic mariachi singer singing with this O sound. It could be anything. It's about choosing for you what is a visual cue that belongs in the world of this music and this text that will make your body respond to give you a certain sound. That's one of the values of having a performance coach or an acting coach, is that they can help you find those connections. Other thing here in this moment is the lights up to this point have been actually really visually distracting for me. They've made it really hard for me to pay attention to the performers. The question that brings up in my mind is that on purpose? Is that a result of just the video? Would I feel differently if I was in the audience here? My gut tells me that it's definitely on purpose. Whether they're meaning to be distracting or not, I don't know. I don't know what their intention is in this beginning moment. I also suspect that if I was in the audience that I would be seeing this differently, that I wouldn't be as distracted. Because part of it is my eyes don't have time to create the pattern and be able to block out these lights because the camera angle keeps shifting. One of the things to think about is when you're performing is to upfront, especially in today's age, really play with and experiment with the performance, not just from the perspective of a live audience, but from the camera, and make sure that both are doing what you're wanting it to do. Again, my guess is as I'm watching this is probably not an official video. It looks more like it's a fan-made video as I'm watching this. Regardless, even if it's a professional video, I would still enjoy it. It's great, but that's one of the things that's making me think of. That said, in this moment, all of a sudden, when it pulls down into this more intense, slightly quieter, more still musical moment, the lights are getting darker, and that's letting our eyes drift more to these shiny gold jackets and to the dancers there. They're not as distracting. So maybe it's just a way to set up contrast to really heighten this moment here. It's an interesting choice, but brings some question marks to my mind. Really cool. I love what I'm seeing. As you guys know, I love these guys. I think they're excellent. One of the things that I love as I'm hearing here, as I'm hearing the voice go up, that airflow staying so consistent, so easy. They're trusting it. They're trusting this open resonant space. They're not pushing at it, punching at it. They're keeping nice, smooth, and consistent, which makes for this really, really glorious sound. It's really easy and sounds like it would be really sustainable and that they could do it for a long time. And obviously they do, because that's what they do. Okay, notice the difference here when they step out from those lights, how much easier it is to watch them and to focus on them. To me, it makes a huge difference. Does it make them dancing amid the lights a mistake? Nope. This is just another way to get contrast. We love contrast, and it actually heightens the sensation because we're wanting to see them, we're wanting to pay attention, and we're wanting to focus on them. But it's not happening yet. It's not happening, and then here it happens. Love it. The other thing I noticed is when it did switch to certain camera angles, it made much more sense of what I was seeing, and then it'd go back to a different camera angle, which made it harder to watch again. So I think a lot of it would probably really change if I was in the audience, especially in certain parts of the audience. They start with high energy, they pull it back and forward and back and forward, then they really pull it way far down in terms of lights to set up this big explosive moment of contrast. And that's what's happening here. Is there a reason why it's so exciting? Yes, because they're doing what it takes to make it really exciting. It is super exciting to watch all this contrast and then have it just build up and have this huge roller coaster effect. Love it. So excellent. I also love here that we're about to see here, and we're starting to see that now these lights evolve, they change. Again, I've mentioned this in a previous video, but I love watching the stage evolve. I love watching props evolve and change and be used in unexpected ways. And they're masters at doing it. I love it. Lighting wise, almost has a backwards design than would be expected. It starts out super bright, light, golds, ambers, flashy, lots of lights going on. And then at the end, it's really dark, just these hand lights, some laser lights going around, but mostly blues and really muted. What? Oh, it's awesome. We love it. But why does it work? Well, it works for a lot of different reasons. But one of the reasons to pay attention to and why it works, they design the lights and everything that's going on to the most unique effect, to the most dramatic effect. And that's them dancing with these lights in their hands. It's the most exciting, unique, unexpected, and really fun, cool thing to watch happen, right? So they save that for its biggest moment. And they design everything around it to draw our attention to that and make sure that that's what we're looking at. I love it. I love it. They go from this kind of visually busy and distracting world to this really intensely focused moment where we know exactly where to look, and it's brilliant. So in hindsight, we can look at the start and be confused of what's going on. And by the end, it's like, oh, it all makes sense now. I love it. If you want a voice lesson, a performance coaching, or want me to work with you or your group to help you sing easier or perform at a consistently higher level, book a time with me at mrperformingartsstudio.com. I look forward to working with you online.